So first off, I want to thank you for taking this time to sit down with me today, and because I've been anxious to get to know you more, because I do love the product that you've come out with, TintWiz. So do me a favor and start out by telling us a little bit about yourself and what motivated you to start TintWiz.
Absolutely. So I've been in the tint industry for about 10 years. About 5 years ago, I moved to LA from Florida, and so I'm in a new city. I opened up a flat glass tint company. Okay. And I wasn't coming from necessarily a tint installer background, but I understood the business. So got into the flat glass, and the first year we grew, in a partial year, we did about 300,000 in sales. Year two, I find myself in a year, we're projected to do $1 million in sales. At the time, I'm using Apple Calendar, I'm using Google Excel sheets, and I'm using email. The combination of all three to kind of manage how everything's going. So, I'm scheduling in Apple Calendars, I'm keeping track of the clients in Google Excel, and then I'm communicating with installers through email, sending pictures back and forth, dimensions, and so on. And it just was clear that, what needed to happen was I needed to hire a bunch of people. And I knew as I continued to grow, I'd need to hire a bunch more people. And what I thought was, okay, that's going to require a lot of training. And right now I'm operating at 110%. Where am I going to find the time to train all these people? And then I thought, well, we're just kind of coming out of a recession. This was only a few years, to me, after the recession we all remember at the end of, around 2010, before and after. So I thought, well, what's going to happen if I grow really quickly, but then in 10 years, the same type of thing happens? What's going to happen to my business? What's going to happen to all these people I trained? Am I going to spend 10 years going forward to spend 2 or 3 years collapsing? So while those things are going through my mind, I said, I just want to find an efficient way to manage this information. If I can do things faster, I can get more done. That means I need less people and I can do more business and I can provide better service. So TintWiz was basically my step-by-step solution to this problem. So the first problem I tried to solve was LA's has a very dense traffic. So 10 miles could take an hour and a half. So it was very, very important to schedule people close together. So what I wanted was a map, because I didn't know the area very well. I said, well, what if I could have a map? And on that map, I just need a pin drop of who I'm trying to schedule. And I would need some other pin drops of where else my guys are going to be that day. And then I can just match that pin drop and make sure it's close to the other pin drops. So that's what we built. We built a simple CRM that had a map on it, had a scheduling system on it. It was tied in with Google Maps, so it was very efficient, and we could do that. And from there, we just built it out, solving those problems. We added the ability to add pictures, do online proposals, so we could do proposals right on site, check in and check out, share with team members and so on. And from there, just about last year, I had the opportunity to sell the tint company. And that was the pivot that made this software something that, instead of being my secret weapon, it was something that I said, hey, I could focus full time on this. I love this. This was my favorite part of the business. So I said, I can sell the tint company. I had that opportunity. And we took TintWiz to, from being our secret tool to being something that we've offered to the tint industry, and we're continuing to grow.
Awesome. So what I'm hearing is you actually built it for yourself, not necessarily thinking that it was going to be for the general public, to make your personal business more efficient. And then it morphed into something that everyone can now have access to help them with their window film company.
That's 100% correct. I had zero intention of ever releasing this to the public. I used to go to dealer meetings, and we had close friends that were like, please let us use the software. And I, at the time, didn't even want them to see what the software looked like, because I thought if they even see what it is, they could maybe copy it or something like that.
Right.
Because it was that important to me. It was like, it was our golden goose.
So would you say that that TintWiz is what helped your business grow to the point of being sellable?
It was absolutely the reason. Like I mean, of course it took marketing, it took treating the customer correctly and so on, but all of that couldn't have come together without the software, no question about it. Let me give you an example. So when you'd call into our office, the person answering the phone could get you scheduled efficiently and quickly, and we could be out there within a few days, a day. Sometimes we were down the street because of how efficient that scheduling software is. When the consultant's out there, they're in the field, they can look at their schedule live and see what was added to their schedule. They can click in there, they can read all the notes from the person who spoke to the customer, so they know exactly what to be prepared to go in. Now they're going in the door with an iPad or with their iPhone. They're taking pictures, they're taking measurements, and they're taking measurements, and they're able to provide the customer with a proposal right then and there on the spot. And even in the instance where they maybe don't sell the customer on the spot, the customer can call in the office a few minutes later, and we're able to answer their questions as if we were there with those pictures and with that information. Then you take our installers and how we were able, Southern California, and how you can't necessarily cover a large area as a window film company because it takes too much time to get out there and to get back. So what we were able to do is say, well, all you need as an installer is your iPad, a van, and some film, and you can live 2 hours away from us because you're going to get your jobs on your iPad. You're going to know where to go. You're going to be able to do your job, put in the information we need, take care of everything right there on the spot. So it was monumental. And
awesome. That's
why I'm so excited to talk about it and, to get everybody else involved. And I know CRM management is a new thing for the window film industry, but it's a game changer for sure.
Well, you've accomplished something that I think all of us window film company owners want to accomplish, and that is being able to eventually exit by selling the business and or handing it down to someone and have it be profitable. Is it safe to say that the gentleman who bought your window film company still to this day uses TintWiz?
So actually they don't. So the company that bought it is the largest company in the United States. Now they had their own systems in place. They're a large company. I don't know how many companies they've bought, but I think maybe this was their 8th or 10th or 7th. So it's a company that, has a lot of systems in place. Now with that said, I do believe they will be using TintWiz in the future. Now during that transit, and that's my own personal belief. Now during that transition of the business, I was able to see the amount of people that they have working in place and the amount of layers and layers upon systems that they have in place. And I understand how difficult at that level it can be to now change that. And that's why it's, I feel like it's such an extreme benefit to say, hey, start using a system that doesn't need to be so complicated, that doesn't need to have so many layers, and that is, easy to learn and so on, because it never gets easier to put those systems in place as you get bigger and so on. It only becomes more difficult. So when people say, I'm not a big shop, I'm just a couple guys, I don't need a system in place, you definitely need a system in place. That's the opposite.
That's the perfect time to start implementing it.
Of course. And you're getting like free help. I mean, it's not free, but it's almost free help. The amount of people that it can replace and it's in your pocket doesn't require management, doesn't require, them calling in sick. It doesn't require training. It's just you and the app.
Right. I 100% agree that the product is ideal for a small shop because it's potentially the one thing that's going to help you become a large shop. Because it replaces so many people, and with the automatic email sends, that's the number one way to cross-sell and upsell customers that are already in your database.
Exactly.
So with that said, would you agree that your ideal customer is a smaller shop because it is easier to start using?
I don't think there's an ideal customer. I really think that everyone in the window film industry, even the larger companies, could find huge benefit. I was on the phone with a manufacturer yesterday explaining to them how they could use it to manage their tint dealers as their own customers. Because at the end of the day, what everybody needs to do in this industry is you want to know who your customers are. You want to have all their information in one place. You want to be able to manage any projects you have, follow up with them and so on. And that applies throughout, it transcends throughout any level of the window film industry. And then also, vinyl wraps, paint protection, all the services that go with it. Even in flat glass, if you're doing, AC filter replacements, which is a common little add-on that flat glass installers do. Regardless, you can handle it with TintWiz. So I don't think there's an ideal customer. I really think everybody could use it to their benefit.
So is what you're saying, as far as the distributors using it, is what you're saying that companies outside the industry could also utilize it?
So we have instances where we had tint shop owners, friends see it, and then, so like we have a carpentry company that uses it. That's a friend of a company of a tint, his friend is a tint shop owner. Right. He saw the system. He uses it for his carpentry business. We have a concrete floor company. We have a painting company. We have a fence company. So we have these oddball companies that have come on to use it. So, you know, at the same time, if you're in fencing, there's probably better solutions out there specific to fencing. But right. If you're in window film or anything related, you know, in that industry, you know, this is what to use.
Awesome. Hey, what would you say is your current client's top 3 favorite features of TintWiz?
So the scheduling, without a doubt, being able to put the clients like in one place and have all their information in there, whether it's, you know, scheduling their consultation or just scheduling installation. Scheduling is just, everybody has a schedule. You're doing a schedule. Right. You're doing it on paper, you're doing it in Google, you're doing it in iCal, and so on. And being able to share that schedule, your installers being able to see it or you being able to see it, that's definitely, you know, that's a huge, incredible part of it. The other thing that gets talked about a lot is the ability to, you know, we have what's called lead forms. So the lead forms are contact forms for your website. They replace the contact form on your website. So, you know, when somebody goes to your website and they type in their information, instead of that information going to, you know, your Gmail account or maybe your spam, and then you checking it and you calling the person back and getting all their information, what this does is when they type in their information on your website, it goes automatically into TintWiz. You get an app notification that you have a new lead, and you get an email notification. So what that allows you to do is you can literally click that app notification. You're looking at their information. You're looking at their notes. You don't have to copy and paste it anywhere. And then you can literally just press their phone number and call them. So what that means is your turnaround time for that is like seconds. And what you're going to hear on the other end of the phone is, wow, that was quick.
Right.
And from there, you have a great conversation going. Now, the flip side, where people are often coming from, is they're working all day. They're doing a million different things. And then they have to find time to sit down and check their email. And then they see the email, they call the person, well, the person didn't pick up, or they send them an email, and now you're in this back and forth. So you just took something that could be handled right then and there, and the customer's super happy, and the customer's impression of you is you're on your stuff. You just took it from and only maybe taking you a minute of your time to now being a back and forth follow-up scenario. And what the trickle-down effect from that is the perception you end up getting of your leads, because you start to say, well, you know, my leads, you know, when people come into my shop, they tend to buy, but the online leads tend to not do much, or I can't close many of them. A lot of people don't even get back to you. They're BS. They're probably other shops. It's not. It's that somebody else picked up their phone and got it done.
Right.
That's what it is.
You. Yeah, 100% agree. And I do agree with also the ability for TintWiz to help build your credibility, because you're getting back to them so much faster when they've already tried potentially calling another shop and not getting a call back or not being responsive. That's awesome. So one thing I've been really anxious to ask you with this interview on our schedule, because you have built such a successful window film company previous to TintWiz, what are your 2 recommendations to window film companies that want to grow exponentially?
Okay, so number one thing is you have to keep track of every single call, every single customer that calls for flat glass. So somebody calls in, and with that, not only do you need to keep track of them, you need to treat them the same way you treat every one of your flat glass customers. So somebody calls in and they say, I have one window and I'd like to frost it. How much is it? The way we did things and what worked for me and what I suggest for everybody is you say, you know, absolutely, we do frost. We have multiple levels of frost. So we have a darker frost that, you know, gives you more privacy and allows a little less light. And then we also have a more clear, it's a dusted crystal if you want less privacy. You know, can we stop by? We can bring you some samples of both of them. We can measure that window for you and we can give you a price right on the spot. And they may say, you know, no, I'm really just looking for a price. and you say, no, I understand, but there are different options and so on. We have decorative options as well. And, we're always in the area. It's free. You're not taking us out of our way. And it's just the way we're able to provide you the service that you deserve. So you can really see what you're getting, because, I don't want to give you a price for one thing and it's not what you had in mind. I want you to see your options. This is your home. And people love that. And it helps them make their decision, and it helps you become the expert and the trusted company. It's the difference between now you walked into their home, they appreciate you already. You show them decorative options. You show them dusted crystals. They pick their option. Maybe it's a $200 job. Maybe it wasn't a killer. But what's going to happen is they're going to spread the word. What's going to happen is you're already in their door, and you can say, what about that skylight? Do you get a lot of heat from that skylight? You want to walk through your house and see if you have any other windows that might be causing you some trouble. You have some shades in the bathroom that you might want to get rid of, and so on. You're in the door. So when you look at a lead as like, well, it's only a one window lead. No, that's better than a one window lead that you can get in the door is better than a 100 window lead that doesn't care to talk to you.
Right.
So like treating every customer like that, that's going to grow the business. That's what gets you the positive reviews. That then gets you more customers and so on.
Awesome. Excellent. And last but not least, what is your number one suggestion when it comes to marketing? If you only had, say, $1,500, all the way up to maybe $5,000, and you had to put it in one place as far as marketing, where would you put it?
So if I can, I would say if my budget was a lot smaller than that and I only had one place to put it, because really I feel like I want to start with the best bang for your buck. Your best bang for your buck out there is, for your time, money, and attention, is your Google local listing and your Yelp page. Okay, those two pages are your best bang for your buck. And the reason that is those two avenues already have traffic to them. So now you only have to say, and they're free to be on. So they already have traffic and they're free to be on. So then you only have to say, how can I build my profile to be the most attractive profile? And once it is the most attractive profile and I maintain that, I'm able to now get most of the business of people looking for window tint. Okay, because when you go to somewhere like, just to kind of give you the other side of the coin, when you say your website is, I guarantee everybody should have a website. When you said $3,000 or $5,000, my mind went towards website. That's where you spend $3,000 to $5,000, and you're going to get a great return out of that. However, if we're on a build your tint business game show and we only have a month to do this, I'm going to Yelp and Google. I'm not going to my website. Now, if we said long term, now you start to level the playing field, and the website might be the long-term bit play.
Awesome.
So yeah.
Well, that's great information. I 100% agree with the Google and Yelp reviews. I still think that's where the larger percentage of people go to call for window film estimates if they're not getting a direct referral from someone. But I can't thank you enough for spending time with us. You've shared a lot of good wisdom with us, and I wish you the best of luck with TintWiz. I have no doubt that it's going to be a very successful company.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time. Thanks for doing this, and thanks for supporting us with the Tintstitute. It's I hope to get the chance we'll do the reverse of this interview, because I have a lot of questions for you, and I think a lot of people can benefit from hearing more about the Tintstitute. So we'll do this again.
Fantastic. It was my pleasure.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.